Hey everybody, it's Rowlph. Sorry I haven't really uploaded any videos in the past couple weeks. I've been a little bit busy with some other life things, as well as, I'll be honest, I think I've just been a little bit depressed, which has an effect on me making content because it just doesn't end up being good. So maybe I have been going a little bit stir crazy, just being cooped up in my room and talking to my stuffed animals. But don't worry, they keep me good company. Right guys?
We love you, Rafi.
You don't need any friends.
Yeah, we're the only friends you need. You can just hang out with us forever.
That's right, forever.
Yeah, forever and ever.
I need more friends. Anyways, today we're going to be reviewing the Galaxy Watch 6 properly this time, as well as the Fold 5. That's right, I used a bunch of saved up money so that I could buy a new phone so that I could use a watch. So without further ado, let's get into this review. Should that be my new catchphrase? Ugh, that sounds kind of gross. First we'll be reviewing the watch. I have a little list of pros and cons for the Watch Galaxy 6. It's been a while since I've done this, give me a break. So we'll start off with the pros of the Galaxy Watch 6. So the first pro that I have written down for the Galaxy Watch 6 is that there are a slew of health applications with the watch, because the watch on the back of it, I don't know if you can see, the watch is capable of reading your health. This watch is capable of reading your heart rate, how many calories you've burned, how many steps you take, how well you're sleeping, as well as your heart rhythm and body composition, such as skeletal muscle, as well as body fat percentage. One thing that I did read online is that all of the vitals that it'll read for your health are probably not going to be super accurate compared to like a dedicated machine from a hospital or something like that. But the information being gathered, I would say, is more useful for charting trends in your health, such as whether you've worked out more or less in a certain week, or how many calories you've burned, whether you're burning more or less of them. Other features of the watch include being able to get notifications from your phone sent to your watch, as well as being able to reply to messages in certain messaging apps, but there's a little bit more to that, and I'll get into that later. One thing that's actually really useful is that you can actually find your phone if it's still connected, because I misplace my phone a lot, so it'll ring it for you and you can just find it. Another cool thing about the watch is that you can control the camera on your phone, so you can do little things such as setting the timer off, and you can see a little preview and I guess more stuff. With that said, there are some things that I don't really like about the watch. So earlier I did mention about replying to messages and stuff like that. There are actually two versions of the watch. There is one version where it's just connecting via Bluetooth to your phone, and that's how it runs most of its activities. And then there's another version of the watch that can run independently of your phone. It can call and text without the need of having your phone on you. I thought that version would be really cool and opted to get that one just in case I left my phone at home or something. I could still call and text people. But the thing that I didn't know about that is that you actually need a separate phone plan for your watch so it can do that. And in the end, I just kind of realized that I'm never really going to be leaving home without my phone. So if you were to buy this, I'd just go for the Bluetooth version, because 99% of the time you will have your phone on you. Another problem that I have with it is that this is more of a user error for me, but I actually like to wear my watch on the bottom of my wrist because I find it more comfortable to look at the bottom of my wrist rather than the top of it. Ow! With that said, there are different modes that your watch can activate in order to show the screen so you can tell what time it is. The one that I'm used to is called Raise Wrist Wake Up. But because I wear my watch on the bottom of my wrist, it doesn't really function well. So if I try to look at it, oh, it worked. Well, it works most of the time, but not really consistently enough. But again, user error because I'm wearing my watch incorrectly. Another not so great thing about the Galaxy Watch is that the battery life isn't amazing. I'd say it will only last you one day, which, you know, I mean, I'm not really blaming Samsung and stuff like that, because I'm sure the limitations of having a long battery life in a tiny watch is really difficult, but it just kind of makes it annoying where you have to take it off, recharge it, and then put it back on and take it off, recharge it just every day, especially when I want to analyze how well I'm sleeping, so you have to keep it on at night. But yeah, it's just kind of annoying. Not really too bad though. Although whenever you do charge the watch, it actually is pretty fast, so Another feature that I thought was really cool until I actually tried it was the connection of your watch to your phone's GPS. So say for example you're driving somewhere and you have your phone GPS on, it can actually put those directions onto your watch so that instead of having to look away towards your phone to look at where your next turn is, it'll just be there on your watch and you can read it very easily. But when I actually tried doing this, the ergonomics of it were horrible. So when I'm driving, I have my hands on the steering wheel like this. But, well, first off, if you are wearing your watch normally, you won't be seeing any of your watch right here. Because, again, you're driving like this, right? And if you want to look at the directions, you have to turn your hand and wrist and take your, I don't know. It's just very not like ergonomic. And even for me, I have my watch on the bottom of my wrist. Even when driving, it's still kind of hard to see because the watch is not perfectly straight on your arm. It's just hard to see what's on your watch because your hands are on the wheel and you have to turn your arm this way to read the text properly. And honestly, it's not even a feature at all. It just sucks. Overall, would I recommend the Galaxy Watch 6? Well, it depends. Most of the benefits that come out of this are just health-based. If you're the type of person that's very focused on their health and would like to know more in detail about how well you're doing when you exercise, then I'd say this is pretty useful. But beyond that, it's kind of not really useful at all. Plus, some of the features that your watch has are also capable on your phone, such as step counters. Overall, I would only recommend this to people that really want to know more about their exercising habits and stuff like that. And now that we've covered the watch, let's get into the review for the Galaxy Fold Z5 Fold Galaxy, this thing. This is more so going to be a general use kind of review rather than a technical review of the phone. I went from using a Galaxy Note 8 to a Z Fold 5, so all of the new features on this phone might be new to me, but it may not be new to other people. Not only that, you can look up the tech specs of everything about this phone, so first off, let's start with the pros. The screen is very big, and I really like that about this. I mean, having a big screen is just super nice, especially when you're watching things or reading things, and it's super cool. Not only that, the phone is capable of doing multitasking up to 3 apps. Granted, I don't really use it all the time, but it's pretty cool to have. Plus, the big screen actually makes it viable to use. Another thing that I've noted is that it's pretty fast. Granted, I was using a Note 8 that was really laggy and slow, but it's nice. And another great thing about it is that it has an amazing battery life. Like, I'll use this thing like a lot, and it'll still have a decent amount of charge by the end of the day. It's just really impressive because for something of this big of a screen, it still has a really large battery life, which is great. But with that said, there's some things that I don't really like about it. The first thing that I really don't like about this phone is the front screen. The front screen is absolutely tiny. And by tiny, I mean thin, like really, really thin. My old phone was way wider than this. So if I am using it on the single front panel screen, generally everything is just really hard to see because everything is so squished from the phone size being so thin. The second thing that I want to talk about that also relates to the thin front is the handling. So whenever I'm using the phone in its open state, it's kind of awkward to handle. The ergonomics aren't really great. You can use it one-handed just like normal, but sometimes the buttons on the screen are too far away from each other to actually use it for one hand, and it just makes things really awkward. Which is why I would want to use the front screen like this, but again, the front screen is just so thin that it makes everything tiny on the phone and I have a hard time reading it. Another problem that I have is that I really like the feature where you can use the front screen as a preview for your camera while also using the stronger lenses on the front of the camera. But the thing is that this phone does not fit normal phone carriers in its open state. So in the end, I can't really use that feature. Keep in mind, I'm very lonely, so I have to film everything by myself. Making sure that I can see whatever it is that I'm filming is great, but I can't do that if I don't have a proper way to prop up my phone in its open state. I think I might just be jealous of the Flip 5 because it's capable of showing a preview screen while also using the strongest lens on the front, while also at the same time being able to use a phone holder. So in the end, if I do want to use a preview screen, then I have to settle for the selfie lens at the top of the phone, which, you know, isn't as great as the front lenses. It just sucks that I can't use the nice lens with the preview screen while I have it open like... Overall, my point is that the phone is kind of wonky because it's big. What I'm really hoping for the next version of this phone is that they actually make the front screen the size of a normal phone so that I would actually use the front screen. And if they do that, that means the big screen on the inside will also be even bigger, which is cool. In the end, this phone is alright, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really super impressed with it. And that's coming from someone who used to use a really Note 8. In the end, I give both of these a 3 out of 5 Rowlphs because they're just alright. Personally, for me, the novelty for both of these items have kind of worn off and they're just alright. Sorry if this review isn't really cohesive. I'm trying to get back into making videos. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking around. I will continue to make content as best as I can. Thank you for watching. Bye!